You won't believe the audacity of this woman, banging on my door like she owned the place. Her face twisted in rage, screaming that I was the villain here. It all started when her bratty kid kept hurling rocks at my windows, shattering one right in broad daylight. And instead of apologizing, she turns it around on me. What kind of twisted logic makes a mom defend her son's vandalism by harassing a neighbor who's just trying to live in peace? Let me back up a bit and paint the picture for you. My name's Alex Rivera, and I've been living in this quiet suburban cul-de-sac in Maplewood for about 5 years now. It's one of those neighborhoods where everyone waves hello. Kids play tag on the lawns, and the HOA keeps things tidy, mowed grass. No junk cars. You know the drill. But then there's Evelyn Hargrove. Or as we all whisper behind her back, the ultimate Karen. She's that type, mid-40s. Always in yoga pants and a visor, patrolling the street like she's the self-appointed sheriff. Her son, little Timmy, 8 years old, freckles, and a smirk that screams trouble, had been on a rock-throwing spree for weeks. I'd seen him chucking pebbles at mailboxes, birds, even cars parked too close to their driveway. But hey, kids will be kids, right? Until it escalated. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon. The kind where the air smells like fresh-cut grass and barbecue smoke wafts from someone's backyard. I was inside, sipping my coffee, scrolling through emails, when, crack! A sharp, splintering sound echoed through the living room. My heart jumped, I spilled half my mug on the carpet. Rushing to the window, I saw shards of glass twinkling on the porch like fallen stars. And there, scampering away with a guilty grin, was Timmy. Rocks still clutched in his grubby fists. "Hey, kid!" I yelled, swinging open the door. "That's not cool. You could have hurt someone." He froze, eyes wide like a deer in headlights, then bolted toward his house 2 doors down. I sighed heavily. The kind of deep, weary breath that comes from dealing with nonsense you didn't sign up for. Brushing glass off the welcome mat, I felt the jagged edges prick my fingers. Ouch! Blood welled up. A tiny cut, but it stung like the frustration building in my chest. Why me? Why now? I grabbed my phone, snapped a few pics of the damage for insurance, and decided to knock on Evelyn's door. Polite, right? Neighborly. "Mrs. Hargrove," I said when she answered, her face already pinched like she'd sucked on a lemon. "Your son just broke my window with a rock. I think we need to talk about this." Her eyes narrowed. And oh boy, the switch flipped. "Excuse me? Timmy would never. You're accusing my innocent boy of vandalism? How dare you?" She stepped out onto her stoop, arms flailing, voice rising like a siren. The scent of her overpowering floral perfume hit me like a wall, mixed with the faint metallic tang of my cut finger. Neighbors started peeking out. Old Mr. Jenkins from across the street paused his lawnmower, the hum dying down to a curious silence. "He's just playing. Boys will be boys. But you're probably the one provoking him. Aren't you? With your unkempt yard violating HOA rules." Unkempt? My yard was pristine. I felt my cheeks heat up, a mix of anger and disbelief bubbling like soda in my gut. "Provoking? Lady. He threw rocks at my house. Look. I have proof." I held up my phone, but she swatted the air dismissively, her gold bracelets jangling like warning bells. That's when she marched over to my doorstep, uninvited, her heels clicking sharply on the pavement. "I'm calling the HOA president right now. And the police. You can't harass children like this." "Harass? Me?" The irony hit like one of Timmy's rocks, thud. Right in the temple. As she pounded away on her phone, I stood there, Arms crossed. The warm sun beating down on my neck, making sweat trickle uncomfortably. Timmy peeked from behind her, snickering softly, "That little rascal." "Mom!" He yelled at me, he whined, twisting the truth like a pretzel. Evelyn's voice boomed into the receiver, "Yes. This is Evelyn Hargrove. I have a neighbor threatening my son. Send someone immediately." Threatening? My pulse raced, this was escalating fast. What kind of world do we live in where a mom turns a blind eye to her kid's destruction and flips the script? By now, a small crowd had gathered, Mrs. Patel from next door, clutching her watering can, eyes wide with gossip-fueled curiosity, the young couple, the Millers, whispering from their porch swing that creaked rhythmically. The air thickened with tension, the distant bark of a dog adding to the chaotic symphony. I took a deep breath, inhaling the earthy scent of blooming roses from my garden. "Calm down, Alex. Don't stoop to her level." But inside, fury simmered. How could she be so blind? So entitled? Minutes ticked by like hours, my mind racing through scenarios. What if the cops believed her? What if this blew up into something bigger? Finally, a patrol car rolled up. Lights flashing but no siren, thank God for small mercies. Officer Ramirez stepped out. A burly guy with a mustache that screamed authority, notepad in hand. "What's the issue here?" he asked, voice steady like a rock in a storm. Evelyn pounced first, dramatic as ever. "Officer, this man, Alex Rivera, he's been bullying my poor Timmy. Accusing him of breaking windows when it's probably just kids playing. I demand you arrest him for harassment." She gestured wildly, her voice cracking with feigned emotion, tears welling up on cue. Timmy nodded vigorously, hiding a smirk. I felt a twist in my stomach, disgust mixed with pity. Is this how she raises him? To lie and manipulate? "Hold on," I interjected, keeping my tone even, though my hands trembled slightly. "Officer, her son threw rocks at my house. Broke the window, see?" I pointed to the glittering mess, then showed the photos on my phone. Ramirez nodded, scribbling notes, his boots crunching glass underfoot. The sound was satisfying, like justice grinding forward. He turned to Timmy, "Kid, did you throw those rocks?" Timmy shuffled, eyes downcast, mumbling, "Maybe." But he yelled. Evelyn gasped theatrically. "See? He's intimidating a child." But Ramirez wasn't buying it. "Ma'am, vandalism is serious. We'll need to file a report." Her face paled, the color draining like water from a sink. That's when the twist hit, Mrs. Patel chimed in, her voice soft but firm. "Officer, I've seen Timmy throwing rocks at my car too. Scratched the paint last week." I didn't say anything. But she trailed off, pulling out her own phone with photos. The Millers nodded, and our mailbox, dented. The revelations cascaded like dominoes. Evelyn's entitlement crumbled right there on my doorstep. "This is outrageous. You're all ganging up on us," she shrieked. But her voice wavered, the bravado cracking. The officer sighed, a long, exasperated exhale that mirrored my own earlier one. "Ma'am, your son needs to learn consequences. You'll be responsible for damages." Timmy burst into tears. Real ones this time. Snot running down his face. The neighbors murmured, the air buzzing with schadenfreude. But wait. It got even juicier. As Ramirez wrapped up, the HOA president, Mr. Thompson, a no-nonsense retiree with a clipboard obsession, pulled up in his golf cart, engine puttering softly. Evelyn had called him too, thinking he'd side with her. "Big mistake. Evelyn," he said, adjusting his glasses. We've had multiple complaints about Timmy's behavior. And your yard? Those overgrown weeds violate Section 4.2. Fine incoming. Her jaw dropped, she sputtered. But I enforce the rules. Thompson chuckled dryly. Exactly. Rules apply to everyone. I watched as karma swung like a pendulum, hitting her square in the ego. Evelyn stormed off, dragging a sobbing Timmy, her heels scraping the concrete in defeat. The crowd dispersed. Pats on my back. Whispers of, finally. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows that felt like closure. But the real high came later that evening. Sipping a cold beer on my repaired porch, thanks to quick insurance. I reflected. Why do people like her think they're above it all? The entitlement. The denial, it breeds chaos. Weeks passed. And the neighborhood shifted. Timmy started helping with chores, mowing lawns, picking up litter, as part of his community service suggested by the officer. Evelyn. She kept a low profile. Her patrols replaced by awkward waves. But the climax hit at the next HOA meeting. Packed community hall. Fluorescent lights humming overhead. The smell of stale coffee hanging heavy. Evelyn stood up. Voice trembling, I apologize for my actions. I was wrong. Gasps rippled through the room. Turns out, more complaints surfaced. Timmy had damaged a playground slide. And Evelyn tried covering it up. The board voted, fines totaling over $1,000. Plus mandatory parenting classes. She sat down. Defeated. Tears streaming. I felt a pang, not glee. But empathy twisted with justice. It's okay, I said later, catching her outside. We all mess up. Learn from it. She nodded. A broken thank you escaping. The air felt lighter. Crickets chirping in the dusk like a soothing lullaby. In the end, this wasn't just about rocks or windows, it was about accountability. Karma doesn't always strike with thunder, sometimes it's a quiet reckoning that forces growth. If you're dealing with a Karen in your life, stand your ground. Gather evidence. And let justice roll. Because when entitlement meets reality, it shatters like glass. And hey, who knows, maybe it'll inspire change. What a wild ride. Right? Stay strong out there, folks.